Good morning, everyone. I realized in my haste of wrapping up my message to you yesterday evening that I forgot to mention your assignment that is due this week. You're going to be working on step 4, which includes the idea of locating innovation in your practice. Ideally, your intervention from your PICO question was something that was innovative, something new, something that was presented as a new idea that was research supported. If your elements that you did for your intervention were not necessarily innovative, something that used new information. Often we think about something that has a technology aspect to it, something that's using current science to change our practice. If your intervention was not that, if it was more of a traditional interpersonal process, something that was more routine, I want you to go back into the literature and look for something innovative that would be supportive specifically to your NURS sensitive indicator. So again, if your intervention was innovative, something that was supported by new current science, be open to looking at technology. Very often our innovation is happening with computers and technology and assistive devices, new research. You're okay to use that if it was your intervention. If it was not your intervention and you need to look at something new, go back into the literature and find an article that is something new, something interesting that is happening that's specific to your NURS sensitive indicator. This is going to be its new section in your paper, so you're going to move it back into a level 1 heading. You're going to treat it like a chapter. It'll follow directly after step 3, so it doesn't need its own page or anything. You're just going to make sure you put that under a level 1 heading, and you're going to be able to talk about the innovative solution to your NURS sensitive indicator that you found. It's going to be supported by 2 new articles, something that you found in the literature, and you're going to offer how you would implement it and then how you would measure it. So if you found a new technology to monitor patients and you looked at the article and the outcome the article was directed at was preventing patient injury during the OR process, you're going to talk about how you would measure the intervention as it relates to the OR process. And again, you're going to use literature and evidence to support your ideas. The section does need 2 new references. After you've identified an innovative solution to your NURS sensitive indicator, and then you have described how you would implement it and then how you would measure it, all under its own section and its own level headings, then you're going to go back in and do your abstract. The abstract is almost always done last because your abstract is the answer and it's the overall perspective of your paper, and it answers your PICO. So you can choose the format that you would like to use for your abstract. Your abstract starts on page 2. It has its own level 1 heading, and then you have the body of your abstract. You can look for specific elements of how it's formatted using the APA manual or Purdue OWL to guide the format of that. Be sure that it is on page 2, that it has its level 1 heading for abstract, that you have given the background of your NURS sensitive indicator, you've described your research process, your intervention and your comparator, that you answer your PICO question, and that it includes keywords. So those elements are going to support a successful abstract. And again, I think that's almost always something that the author does at the end because it really is the snapshot of everything that is in your paper. I should be able to read your abstract and understand the whole process of your PICO and then understand the answer to your PICO question. What did you find? And the keywords are used as search terms. So if someone wanted to locate, if let's say you publish your paper and someone wanted to locate key topics that were in your paper, you want to put 3 or 4 good keywords that were the focus of your paper. So make sure that you've done that. Once you've done your abstract, then another point to just tie up, right now you've been writing one section at a time, and you've been ending your paper kind of halted. It's almost like there's the anticipation of something else is happening, and that's been okay. This paper should have a conclusion, and that's a writing process that you need to be comfortable with. So you've had step 1, step 3, and step 4 are all the the body of your paper. It's the background information, your synthesis of what you found, and then your innovative solution related to your NURS sensitive indicator. That's the meat and potatoes of your paper. You're going to front end it with an abstract, and then the very last thing you're going to do in writing is a conclusion paragraph. And that can be under its own level 1 heading as well. And you're going to summarize the general ideas. This is what I was looking at. This is the answer I found, and this is how it matters. A conclusion paragraph is literally, 5 to 6 sentences. It's just meant to kind of put a bow on things, of being a clear ending to your paper. So your paper is kind of hugged on both ends. You've got your abstract that gives a overview of what you are going to put in your paper, and then your conclusion is an overview of what you just said. So the feeling like the abstract and the conclusion are a little redundant, they can be. You're not going to copy and paste them, but thematically they're going to feel very similar. And then you're going to go through your references. I think in my video yesterday I reminded you, please go back through and reconcile your references. Make sure that you go through your paper and have somebody check, if I have it on my reference list, is it in my paper? If it's in my paper, is it on my reference list? And you want to make sure that you have a set of eyes or two that go through and do that reconciliation process. And then you're going to submit it. So the writing of step 4 is probably not going to be more than a couple of pages, maybe 1 or 2 pages if you write concisely. But then you've got to remember to add your abstract to your conclusion paragraph and clean up your references. So that's a little bit more of the tedious work. I hope this helps. Remember, if you have questions or concerns about the formatting of your APA paper, the Writing Center is always available. You have to plan accordingly to give them time to review your paper, but they are a resource for you, and make sure that you're using the resources that have been made available to you on Blackboard. I hope you guys are having a good day. I'll see you soon.